If you're a professional who's used to delivering, meeting expectations, following through, and keeping things generally moving, but you feel exhausted in ways that work alone doesn't explain, this episode is for you. One of the most common misunderstandings about burnout is the belief that it starts at work. In reality, burnout usually starts with life load. Work is often where burnout shows up. Life is where it quietly accumulates. Today, we're going to talk about what life load actually is, why it's often invisible to capable professionals, and why burnout recovery fails when we only adjust in one area of life. Life load is the total weight your system carries across all domains, not just work. Life load includes decision-making outside of work, emotional labor in relationships, caregiving responsibilities, ongoing transitions or uncertainty, identity shifts, and unprocessed loss. For professionals who are used to delivering, life load often goes uncounted because it isn't tied to a job description. But your nervous system doesn't separate work stress from life stress. It responds to the total load. Most people notice burnout symptoms during work hours. That's when focus drops. That's when patience thins. That's when performance feels harder. So it's easy to assume work is the problem. But often work is simply where the system finally runs out of the margin. For professionals who are used to delivering, life load builds quietly because they keep functioning, even as capacity is being drained. If this perspective feels clarifying instead of overwhelming, that's intentional. This channel is designed to help capable professionals understand how multiple life demands interact and how to respond strategically instead of reactively. Life load doesn't always come from crisis. Often it comes from sustained strain. Common contributors include being emotionally available to too many people, managing other people's needs alongside with your own, navigating role transitions without space to process them, and carrying responsibilities without shared support. These demands don't always feel urgent, but they are cumulative. And cumulative load affects capacity just as much as acute stress. The first skill here is recognizing total load. Here's a metaphor that helps. Think of your life like a load-bearing structure. Work is one beam, relationships are another, caregiving, transition, and emotional labor are others. When one beam carries too much weight for too long, the structure doesn't collapse immediately, it shifts, it compensates. Cracks don't show up where the weight started. They show up where the structure is already under strain. Burnout works in the same way. Instead of asking what's wrong with work, ask where has weight been unevenly distributed across my life? This question shifts the focus from blame to assessment. In Design Life Hub, burnout is never addressed in isolation. We look at work, relationships, transitions, and internal demands together because capacity is shaped by the whole system, not one role. Burnout recovery often stalls because people only adjust one lever, and that's usually work. But if life load remains unchanged, capacity doesn't fully return. That might mean renegotiating expectations in more than one area, reducing emotional labor where possible, adding support during high load seasons. Sustainable recovery requires distributed adjustments, not isolated fixes. Here's one practice to try this week. List the areas of life where you're carrying responsibility, not just obligation. Ask, which of these loads has been invisible to me? Awareness turns invisible weight into something you can respond to. Burnout isn't a sign that work is wrong. It's often a sign that life load has exceeded capacity. You don't need to escape your responsibilities. You need to redistribute and support them. If this episode resonated, continue exploring the channel and inside Design Life Hub. This is where full system capacity is built. And if you're open to it, comment with one word that describes the area of life carrying the most weight for you right now.